something called something. It's like a strap, but it's
Where they
like,
have the little giant hole too?
yeah, it's loose, and they're
Unicycle.
having a walk. What is it called?
On a unicycle.
Top rope unicycle juggling chainsaws across Grand Canyon.
While we're on fire.
You don't want to. With no parachute.
And whistling.
That's the only thing that will impress me.
Whistling a tune. Okay.
Wasn't there like a family that?
The Flying Melendez. The Flying Melendez. Yes, Joe knows about the Flying Melendez.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying they died.
Joe, you like the Flying Melendez? We're scared to death. There were, well, some of them did. There are a whole generations of circus performers that do tightrope tricks.
They were like,
Yeah.
No, I said, who's the people? Was it they were going across and they like fallen and they died? They were trying to do a tightrope thing.
That was Dick Grayson's parents before he came on. No, that was the one. I think it was the Melendez. I mean, they've been around since like the 1800s. Flying Melendez.
Imagine if one of them actually couldn't do any circus.
Yeah.
Like how.
Yes. You're nothing.
I went to a circus once in Venezuela. Never again.
Weird, isn't it?
I was too scared.
Circuses used to be really good when I was a little kid, but they kind of
Do they even have any anymore?
not
Yeah.
really. Not really, they don't.
There still is like there's some that go out now it's cold bro, but it's some.
But there's some, and I'm not trying. Okay, I'm gonna sound horrible here, but like all the, I guess a lot of the new animal treatment laws and some of the regulations come in, they changed everything. You couldn't do as much stuff. I don't want animals treated bad. I don't want animals treated bad. But I miss the old circus. I do miss the old circus.
I saw a lion.
That's everything.
Heck, you can drive the back roads in Bridgeport.
Yeah, I see the lines. Yeah. But they're letting the stuff grow so you can't see them anymore.
Yeah.
They're letting the grass and the brush grow around it.
I'm gonna come over there with a weed eater. Just like do like a hit and run.
We took Titan over there once when he was, I think he could talk. He was tiny though, and we went by one of them and I said, "Hey Tiger," and it looked over and it got real low and started. It looked a little tight and was creeping up on it. I guess he wanted to eat him. And we were in the car. We stayed in the car. Less chance of getting ate if you're in the car. All right, William Howard Taft. Do y'all know anything about William Howard
Yes,
Taft?
second event.
No. Okay.
Oh, he's that big fat guy.
I'm going to show you a picture of William Howard Taft.
How do you get stuck in a bathtub?
He was fast.
I know.
I mean, he was
Big dude.
That's William Howard Taft. All right.
wasn't it like the mayor or something? Or
He was the president. He was president.
He was president.
This guy.
And they had to get a crane to get him out.
Okay, look. Let me explain something. He did not get stuck in a bathtub. That was a rumor. But because he was a very large individual, people believed the rumor, and that's all anybody knows about William Howard Taft. That's all you'll ever remember about him is that he got stuck in a bathtub. He did not get stuck in a bathtub. They did replace a bathtub while he was in office. And that's where I think the rumor came from. But can you imagine? Y'all have all been in the second most embarrassing situation where you're sitting there and you've done your business and you forgot to check first. And you look and you're like, oh my gosh. Nothing. And you have to do the walk of shame.
I've done that so much.
You've never pooped, Taylor? Ever?
I'm just confused.
I'm confused.
And you always promise yourself, next time I'm going to make sure I always check first. But we don't check first. Nobody checks first. That's the second.
You have the little thing that has all the underneath it.
Well, what I've got in my, because the little guest bathroom, who's been at the house before? Okay, you been in my house? You been in my house? Yeah, okay. The little guest bathroom, that's where I go in the mornings because I don't want to disturb anybody else. And in the cabinet, right here, That's where I keep the stash, so I can always. The worst situation would be getting stuck in the bathtub, because you can't get out of that yourself. Because I guess the suction, and you would have to have help, and that would be the worst.
How would you get it?
I don't know.
Just start beating on the walls.
But that did not happen to this man. He was the first president to throw the first pitch out of the opening of baseball season. So he did that. He never wanted to be president. He became president after Teddy Roosevelt stepped down. And Teddy Roosevelt picked him to be his successor, said, I want you to run for president. He didn't want to run for president. He was president. Remember the Bull Moose Party? He's the reason for the Bull Moose Party. Because Teddy Roosevelt didn't like what he was doing, so he decided to run again and started the Bull Moose Party and ran against him.
Did he win?
No, ended up being a mess. He later became Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. That's what he wanted. So he's the most successful man in American government. He was both President of the United States and Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. But you don't hear that part. You hear, oh yeah, he got stuck in the bathtub. He didn't get stuck in the bathtub.
Poor guy.
He was President of the United States and then later Chief Justice. Look at that. There he is, this Chief Justice. Portland, that's what they call him. Where'd he go?
Not there you.
Why is it not? I guess we just want to see that picture. There he is.
Oh, he got a little finger.
Hey. Okay.
He looks like the.
So he liked food. He didn't like to work out, but
He
he
got
liked
a better
food.
job.
So what do you know about him?
He ain't real healthy.
He didn't get stuck in the bathtub.
He was president and Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Yeah, the most successful person in American government.
I still think I'm gonna have to say he still got stuck in the bathtub because I've been told that my whole
He
life.
did not get stuck in the bathtub. Okay?
What's that book that we have, Where's the Presidents? And then there was one guy where he was wearing a barrel.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was wearing just a barrel.
I don't remember. I gotta look that up. Where
It
is
was
that?
like a cartoon one, but it was showing all the presidents that we have.
Where's that at?
Oh, was it? Not Ulysses.
Alright, this is from top of the scales at over 350 pounds. William Howard Taft was a true political heavyweight. He's the only man to serve as both U.S. President and Supreme Court Chief Justice. What we most remember about Taft is he was supposedly, no, I don't want this, supposedly became stuck in a White House bathtub. The story, however, apparently doesn't hold water. Let's see. No documentary evidence backs it up, but according to Brady Carlson, author of the book Dead Presidents, An American Adventure into the Strange Deaths and Surprising Afterlives of Our Nation's Leaders, the story didn't arise until 2 decades after Taft left the presidency. Let's see. The funny part is while Taft was president, the White House got a tub that was so big a president couldn't possibly get stuck in it. Indeed, just weeks after Taft's 1908 election, the captain of a warship carrying the president-elect to inspect the Panama Canal requested a supersized bathtub capable of holding the heftiest man ever to occupy the Oval Office. Since no Taft-sized basin could be found, a Manhattan company specially crafted the largest solid porcelain tub ever made for an individual, more than 7 feet long, 41 inches wide, and weighed a ton, literally. Photograph in the February 1999 issue of the Journal of Engineering Review showed the pond-like presidential bathtub with 4 men sitting comfortably inside. Here's that picture. So this is the White House bathtub, which proves he did not get stuck in the bathtub.
You can fit some poison in it.
You can swim laps in that bathtub.
Yeah, party in that bathtub.
Wait, so then why did you have that?
I guess
whatever they brought
probably
to
when they
bathtub.
brought that one, they pretty well he got stuck in the other one. So they,
Okay.
So
Where did the crane came? like come from, but they didn't use a crane.
Probably get that nap.
I'm sure they had to use some sort of something to get that thing in
So
there.
that's probably why they said they didn't get them out the crane.
Yeah. You know how people are.
They probably picked the.
Well, so I heard that everybody,
He probably looked like the.
because there are toppers out there. Y'all all know a topper, right? You tell a story, and then the guy, oh yeah, well, what happened to me? Let me tell you what happened. And they always have to top the story that just was told, you know. That's where this comes from. There was a topper. Oh yeah, well, I heard, you know. And they all talk like that. I don't know why they talk like that.
I'm sure he looked at the dad that you had behind the intermediate or whatever.
Oh my gosh. Oh, golly. Once, a couple summers ago, on a Saturday morning, me and a little Titan, we're gonna go work out. And we drove by, and out there by the old band hall, the intermediate band hall, whatever, there was a car with the door open, and something was next to it. And it looked like a pile of something, I don't know. We just kept going. Well, then Miss Gage, the principal at the intermediate, came by the weight room and said, Coach Ryle, there's something back behind my building. Would you come help me look at it? I said, sure. We get up there. Closer we get up to it, it's some old, naked, fat guy. He was so averse to working out, his legs, like the top of his leg was like this, and then it flattened out at the bottom. So there was no muscle, it was just flab and just kind of piled up at the bottom. And I was like, oh my gosh, so they called the cops and they came and got him. But Titan to this day says, hey Dad, remember that naked old guy over there? So, all right. Who in the Senate? Remember Justice Barrett, her confirmation hearing. Who holds that hearing within the Senate? What committee?
Wait, why was he there?
Well,
Was he drunk?
I'm sure, just an idiot, and just stopped and got out and laid down. I just got
Why
hot.
was he naked, and why didn't he just have a good to
I
lay
didn't
down
ask. I
naked?
just walked away as quickly as I could. What committee is going to look at judges and whether or not we should let that person be a judge or a justice? Judiciary Committee.
I might be passed out behind the school. But I ain't
The
gonna
Senate Judiciary Committee. Now, when I was a sophomore, maybe a junior, there was a movie that came out. It was called The First Monday in October. And it was the story of a female justice on the Supreme Court. And that year, what's her name? Oh my gosh, I see your face. Crud, she's in the National Cowgirl Hall of Fame in Fort Worth. I've got Alzheimer's. I can't believe. Somebody look up the first female Supreme Court justice. It's like Sandra Day O'Connor. Don't do it. Don't look it up. Sandra Day O'Connor. Okay? Yes. All right. But the reason the movie was called The First Monday in October is... Use your context clues there. What do you think, Dory?
Is that when she was inducted?
No. Dory's looking at it. Why would you think they would call the movie about the Supreme Court First Monday in October? That's when their term starts. The first Monday in October is when the Supreme Court's term starts.
So we put.
I would put that if I was you. Yes, I would put that if I was you. I've already put that, and I know it. So, all right, jump over to the back. No, not bad. Let's jump down to. Actually, wait a minute. I messed up. Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's jump to number 4. We're on number 3, let's jump to number 4. How about that? I was confused. The Supreme Court kind of does what they want, the way they want to do it. Nobody's in charge of them. They just kind of do what they feel like doing. They get about 10,000 requests for people to hear their cases every year. Is there any way 9 people can look at 10,000 cases?
Yes.
They actually decide about 100 of them a year.
Well, that's just pitiful.
You could do one a day.
Well, this is how they work. They go in.
They take a week off after they get one done.
They go in 2-week cycles.
And that's when nothing gets done around here.
For 2 weeks, they will hear cases. And I think they go on a Monday. Let me double check. I have Alzheimer's. Godzilla. This is.
What's Alzheimer's?
It's where you don't know anything, you forget stuff.
When's my birthday?
24th of September, 2002. How about that? I always say 2003 because that's the class. Chris Pike and all those guys, Hunter Skiles, graduated in 2003, and that's how I remember when you were born because it was when they were seniors. I always say 2003, but it was actually
You
2002.
used to not know my birthday. You used to forget it all the time.
Yeah,
Until like last year.
yeah, it was 24th. Because Colt is what, 17?
Yeah.
But his was supposed to be the 14th.
No, that was Titans. Titans is the 17th.
But his was supposed to be another day, so I get that one mixed up. There's too many numbers.
Titans was supposed to be the 14th, because I always say his birthday's on the 14th. But I'm wrong.
Oh, yeah. Is it not? Yeah, his birthday's 14th.
It is. Then
Yeah.
he was supposed to be on the 17th or something like that.
I know. See, it's too many. It's too confusing.
Yeah.
And you're just worried about you.
Why don't y'all just remember the day they were born?
It's
Yeah,
like-
because I remember getting told that. I don't know. Your birthday is, oh gosh. He told me 2 years ago.
It doesn't matter.
Because he used to tell me it was in October, but it's not. It's in August. August 28th.
Why not?
Of what year, Pacer?
1967.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's right. I was right.
That sounds old.
They're going to hear cases on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. They will hear cases. On Thursday and Friday, they will study cases in their chambers and write opinions.
Doesn't. Probably should have there. Paul.
If you're a Supreme Court, okay, if you are the scientists that are coming up with these vaccines, are they probably really social people? Or are they very technical? That's the kind of person who's a Supreme Court justice. They spend hours in their chambers studying up on cases, reading other opinions, and just doing that kind of stuff. I wouldn't like it. I don't like being around people, but I don't like doing all that kind of studying stuff. So for 2 weeks, they actually hear cases. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The other times they're studying. The next 2 weeks, they will meet, discuss the cases, study, and write opinions.
Do some more studying. So when do they actually solve it? In the next 2 weeks?
That's the thing. There's no guarantee, even if they hear your case, that they're going to make a decision on it. They just later on, they'll come out and say, okay, here's our decision on this case. And they got multiple cases going on at the same time. They're not doing one case at a time. They do multiple. And even if they're not hearing your case, they might make a decision on your case based just on the paperwork. They don't have to hear your case. So there's a lot of uncertainty with it. So if you got a case before the Supreme Court, it's not like you have a schedule, you're gonna know this day what the opinion, you don't know, even if they're gonna say what it is. They might just not, and they won't tell you we're not gonna do it, they just don't do it. So
you could just be sitting there waiting for 10 years.
well, it's just 1 year. I mean, by the end of the year, if they're gonna make a decision, it'll be that same year. Let me see if there's this part of it. Go down to number 7. What is the Supreme Court deciding? Every case they look at, what are they looking at?
If the case is
Constitutional or not. All they care about is, was the Constitution followed? Were these people's rights? Was things done correctly? They don't care about the case. So they're not trying the case. Listen, each side gets 30 minutes to present their case. You don't have to go over all the details and where they found the body and where the murder weapon. They don't care about all that. They care about the constitutional issue. Does that make sense? So they're not trying the case. It's this particular part of it that was done wrong. And this side is explaining why it was done wrong, what was wrong about it, and then this side is defending the court's actions and the policeman's actions and all that stuff. So each side gets 30 minutes. There is 2 lights. There is a red light.
A yellow light?
There's a red light, and there's a white light. When the white light comes on, that means you've got 5 minutes to talk. If you're arguing before the Supreme Court and you see that white light, you need to start wrapping things up. Because it doesn't help for you to extend. If you're in mid-sentence and that red light comes on, what's a red light mean?
Stop.
Stop. Doesn't help your case to finish your sentence when the red light comes on. Okay? They wouldn't think it's very funny. But every side, both sides have 30 minutes. You're not arguing the whole case. You're just presenting your thing that was wrong, done wrong in the court. All right, go up to a writ of cert. The only time you will see that word certiorari is right there. We'll never talk about certiorari again. We're going to say cert.
Is that number 5?
That's number 5. This is Latin. A writ of cert is when the Supreme Court asks the lower court, send us the case. The Supreme Court will ask the lower court. What's a lower court? Any court that's not the Supreme Court is a lower court. So the Supreme Court will ask wherever that case is coming from, whichever had that case the last time, not the original jurisdiction, but whichever decision was made the last time. Supreme Court will ask the lower court, send us the case. What gets sent to them? How do you send a case to the Supreme Court? It's all the paperwork, the documents, the briefs, or the card. See, look, I'm done. Make sure I got about 2 more years of thing.
You're not going to teach till Titan gets up here?
I'll teach as long as I can. See, Colt worked with receivers at Wyoming. He could step in and take over. You won't be done yet. He could be Coach Rowell. He says you don't want to be called Coach Rowell. I said, why not? Because you're Coach Rowell. I said, no, you're Coach Rowell. He's not Mr. Rowell.
Mr. Rowell.
Coach C. No, he's Coach Rowell.
No.
But if I have to be done because I have to be led around and told where things are, then he can step in. Maybe, you know.
He doesn't want to jump.
No, that's good. He doesn't need to come here.
Why doesn't he want to come here?
Well,
That's kind of.
you go. teaching and coaching is good to go somewhere where you get to start you, and it's not where everybody doesn't know you. And it's hard enough without everybody knowing you and whatever.
Having expectations.
Yeah, it's in the paperwork, it's in the documents, all that stuff. Now these are Supreme Court justices. Do they need to be explained what all this stuff means? No, they know what's going on. Is the next one per curiam? I'm gonna put this up here. Per curiam, another Latin word. Most decisions made by the Supreme Court are per curiam decisions. This means they only use the paperwork. No lawyer has to come talk to them. They just look at the documents, look at the paperwork from the case, and make the decision based on that, because they understand it. They don't need to be told how it works. Everybody cool? How many of y'all had some Spanish? All of y'all? I had 3.5 years of French, didn't learn anything. I learned a couple things. That's about it. Have I told you why I did that? Because I wouldn't, would you, if I say that, does your forehead kind of wrinkle up? 3.5 years of French. Would you think I would take 3.5 years of French?
No.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I took 2 years in college. No, I took 2 years in high school because I knew the teacher. Didn't learn anything there. Didn't learn a thing. Made a B.
Was the teacher a coach?
No. I just knew the teacher for a long time. I thought it'd be easy. It was easy. Then I had to have 3 semesters in college to get my teacher's certificate. And I thought, well, foreign language. And I thought, well, I've already had 2 years of French, so maybe something is there. So I picked French. I'm there the first day, and the teacher is talking to me, and after class, I guess it took one class then to figure out what's this guy doing here. And she called me in and said, what are you doing in French? I said, well, I have to have a foreign language for my teacher's certificate. She said, you're never going to France? I said, no, ma'am, never. She says, tell you what, you do your work, keep the class entertained, you'll get a B. I said, yes, ma'am. So I did all my work. And when did y'all ever do, you ever do like in foreign language, like you do little role plays or do dialogues? Okay, we would do that, and the class laughed at the idiot because I would, if I didn't know a word, I would say an English word but make it French, like "Je lifte le weights." Ha ha ha! What a neon! Oh,
That's what I do in Spanish, just put an O after it.
yeah, same kind of deal. Yeah,
I
same
just
kind.
like your Spanish accent.
All right, so y'all do have some background in foreign language. I'll tell that later. Amicus curiae. Is that right?
Where's the
Oh,
three?
where
Per curiam. We did that with the writ sir. I just threw that in there. Just write that anywhere so you got that. Paper. They don't look at the. They don't have to be told what it is. They look at the documents.
Oh, yeah.
So I messed up. Look at this word here.
Because
Tell me what that word means, based on what you know about Spanish.
I don't know anything about Spanish.
Yeah, I never learned anything in Spanish.
More
You did?
than
I did.
You know this one. You knew this one before you took the class.
Amigo.
Amigo.
Ooh.
What's that mean?
Friend. That is not what we're
Amigo.
That's a version of. All right, I'll give you this. Latin is the root language of Spanish, of French, of Italian, of Portuguese, and of German. So if you ever learn one of those languages, you can easily learn the others because they're connected. English is not connected to any other language. It's got a little bit of this, a little bit. It's a casserole. Okay, it's all mixed up. But in French, ami means friend. Amigo means friend. So what's this word mean? Friend. Friend means friend.
I got observation.
Curiae, I think, means court. But I know amicus curiae means friend of the court. What amicus curiae briefs are is somebody outside the case that's not involved with it but has information the court might be interested in. So it's not necessarily a witness, but it's somebody that has information, a friend of the court. The kid that gave me that flag, he was stationed in South Dakota. And he sent me a letter. He said, Coach Riles said, I'm in trouble. Said, my platoon was ordered to go into the storage room and get this stuff out. And we did it. And the MPs came in and arrested us and said we were stealing. So they had to go to court-martial. What's court-martial? Trial, military trial. And he asked me, could you write me a character letter? Could you write me a letter telling what kind of person I am and what you know about me? I said, sure. What's that? What would that be?
It'd be like a
Friend of the court. I'm not involved in it, but I have some information that could help the court. I don't know if they called it that, but that's what it was. Everything was fine. They found, yes, they were not guilty, that they were ordered to do that, and so he was cleared. But does that make sense? Somebody outside the case that has some information the court would like to, that could help them make their decision. That's amicus curiae. All right, the Supreme Court decisions. They are called opinions. There are 9 justices. So if everybody's there and everybody votes, can there ever be a tie? No. If somebody abstains, if somebody's not there, there could be a tie. But it could be 9-0. It could be 8-1, 7-2, 6-3, 5-4, right? This is not how they do it. This is the winning side. That's the losing side. They call it the majority and the dissent. If somebody dissents, what are they doing? Disagreeing. If there's disagreement in the room, there's dissent in the room.
Students and teachers, we will be running a regular schedule today. We will not have assembly period.
Oh man.
Everyone, the bells will be on regular schedule and we will not have assembly period. Thank you.
I needed that. God, that's why I get a lot of stuff done. Okay.
Who won't vote with?
Right. So does this make sense? Majority and dissent. Right? That what they were deciding is 9-1 to either overturn the lower court's decision or to uphold the lower court's decision. They look at that case and they're going to vote, I want to overturn that or I want to uphold that. Does that make sense? If they overturn it, what's going to happen? If it's a trial, then it's a new trial. If they uphold it and it's a trial, no new trial. I think yesterday they were hearing arguments about the healthcare law. And if they would say that that's either constitutional or unconstitutional, which means that law would stay or it would go. Right? So does that make sense? The majority and dissent. When they come to a decision, let's say it's 7-2. One of these 7 people will write